Meanwhile, the media, which again, they have a vested interest in the idea that the government solves all of your problems, they are fighting mad that there are members of the government who actually would like the government to butt out of your business. So right now, the Republicans are considering the possibility of pushing the Democrats to get rid of the vax mandate in order so they can pass their new debt ceiling increase. Okay, this is a good idea because, frankly, Democrats need to have their feet held to the fire on this. The Democrats have been embracing these vax mandates via OSHA. They've not been forced to a vote on it yet. And so the Democrats, who had like pretty much 6 weeks to figure out this whole reconciliation debt ceiling thing, and then they just didn't do it. They waited until the last minute again, and now Republicans are holding them. They're squeezing them. According to Politico, conservatives on both sides of the Capitol are privately plotting to force a government shutdown Friday in an effort to defund the Biden administration's vaccine mandate. No. They're not plotting to force a government shutdown. They're plotting to force the end of the vax mandate. And Biden can choose. Capitalizing on a last-minute scramble to fund the government, a group of Senate conservatives is planning to object to quick consideration of a stopgap measure to extend funding into early 2022, unless Democratic leaders agree to deny money to enforce the mandate. Because of the tight schedule and Senate rules that require unanimous consent to move quickly, the senators believe they will be able to drag out the process well past midnight Friday when funding officially expires. Senator Mike Lee, Republican of Utah, full disclosure, I'm friendly with Senator Lee because he's a terrific senator. He says, I'm sure we would all like to simplify the process for resolving the CR, but I can't facilitate that without addressing the vax mandates. Given that federal courts across the country have raised serious issues with these mandates, it's not unreasonable for my Democratic colleagues to delay enforcement of the mandates for at least the length of the continuing resolution. It's unclear how many Senate conservatives are willing to follow through on the shutdown threat, but apparently 15 Republicans have signed a letter spearheaded by Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas in early November, vowing to use all means at our disposal to block passage of a continuing resolution that doesn't stop implementation of a vax mandate. Now, here's the thing. If Democrats had started on the continuing resolution 3 weeks ago, they'd be fine. They didn't. They waited until the last moment. Again, because Democrats have no intention of actually preventing a government shutdown. They just want to spend all the money and rope Republicans into approving it. They did this last time. Republicans gave them another stay of execution. And then Mitch McConnell said, we're not doing this again. And Democrats were like, well, what if we just push it to the last minute again? The strategy, according to Politico, means the government will likely shut down for several days, even if appropriators strike a bipartisan agreement to extend funding by the end of today. A Senate Democratic leadership staffer told Playbook, without an agreement to truncate the timeline, the Senate would need at least 5 days to process the continuing resolution. That would mean a brief shutdown ending Sunday at the earliest, but possibly dragging into next week if a deal is not reached today. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer appeared to nod to the possibility of trouble, seeking to preemptively blame the GOP. Meanwhile, Mitch McConnell predicted Tuesday we won't shut down, arguing, quote, nobody should be concerned about a government shutdown. The issue came up in the Senate GOP lunch on Tuesday. So here's the thing. The Democrats control both houses of Congress. So all they have to do to prevent a government shutdown is they could initiate the continuing resolution today and use reconciliation. Use one of the bullets in their chamber to simply pass the continuing resolution. You'd have a government shutdown that lasts about 24 hours without Republican approval. And they could do that. Or they could try to drag this out on behalf of a vax mandate that is increasingly unpopular with the American public. So Chuck Todd, of course, you know which side he's going to come down on. He's going to come down on the side of, I love vax mandates, and I also love Democrats. And so Republicans are the problem here, even though Democrats run both the House and the Senate. Here was Chuck Todd over on MSNBC.
Aren't all members of Congress, folks, come on, members of Congress, aren't you embarrassed by the silliness of this debt limit thing that we go through, this shenanigan? Just shame on all of you. Shame. Come on. Particularly Republicans. You're playing games this time. I know the Democrats play games, but enough of this. This is stupid. Enough of it.
Enough. It's so stupid. It's stupid. Really, because the Democrats did it when Republicans were in office. They also negotiated over the debt ceiling. It's pretty common politics at this point. And Democrats can move forward with this anytime they want. But they were the ones who decided to delay all of this, specifically so they can then try and blame Republicans for it. Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, says, oh, we have to pay our bills. We have to pay our bills. Oh, I have an idea how you could pay your bills. You know, a great way? Not spending trillions more dollars all the damn time. That would be a good way to start paying your bills.
There are two decisions facing Congress that could send our economy in very different directions. The first is the debt limit. I cannot overstate how critical it is that Congress address this issue. America must pay its bills on time and in full. If we do not, we will eviscerate our current recovery.
So again, would recommend a little fiscal responsibility would go a long way here. At no point has Janet Yellen suggested perhaps we should spend a little bit less money. In fact, Janet Yellen lies. She says the Build Back Better won't increase the national debt, despite the fact the CBO says precisely the opposite.
Build Back Better is the right economic decision for many reasons. It will, for example, end the child care crisis in this country, letting parents return to work. These investments, we expect, will lead to a GDP increase over the long term without increasing the national debt or deficit by $1.
Okay, these people lie. They lie. And then they're like, oh, yes, by the way, we need to pay our debts. They're just liars. But here's the thing. The media continue to lie for them, continue to cover up for them. These are the normal people. These are the people who should be in control of your life. It ain't about Chris Cuomo. It's about all of you. And you know what? Keep doing it. Because frankly, we here at the Daily Wire, we are happy to eat your lunch as more and more people continue to look elsewhere for better sources of news. Who's got two thumbs and wants you to like and subscribe?